Welcome back to my channel. You already know it's your boy Hood Digital, the Rock Reactor, back with another video. Yes, sir. Before I proceed, let me know where you tapping in from. Let me know what country, what city, what mountain, what hill, what cave, what island, what planet, what universe. Let me know where you at. Represent your hood. Yes, sir. We got the news. Guys, protests growing after ICE agent fatally shoots Minneapolis woman. I saw the video, guys, and I mean, I think you would really have to be there. But based on what I saw, I think that was unnecessary. That was definitely unnecessary. It seems like he just hit him on the side because he was still standing. He didn't like run him over. He was still standing. I think he could have just shot the tires. He didn't have to shoot her in the head. I mean, that's a little overboard, guys. And those are things that is just going to escalate to other stuff. And I think the U.S. government is not even thinking that all those actions that ICE is committing and all that, it's all going to be documented. And eventually there's going to be a lot of lawsuits coming out of that. Let's get right to it, guys. And before we do, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the screen. Protests growing after ICE agent fatally shoots Minneapolis woman. Let's get it.
Growing protests tonight in Minneapolis. An ICE agent shot a woman there, witnesses say, in the face as she was in her car. She is dead. He killed her. And you are looking at live pictures right now of the streets in Minneapolis. You can see all of those lights. This is a vigil near the site where the shooting took place. Crowds have been growing all night. They are chanting, "Say her name." And we have just learned the victim's name. She is a 37-year-old woman, as we said, and her name is Renee Nicole Good. Renee Nicole Good. She was shot and killed today. And ICE claims that the agent opened fire after Good, quote, weaponized her vehicle in an attempt to kill him, a federal officer. All right, well, there's a lot of video out there, so let's just show you some of it. Here's the video so you can see what actually happened for yourself. We warn you, it is graphic. Renee was killed. But you see agents approaching the SUV, which is stopped in the middle of the street. They instruct her to get out of the car. Now, according to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, then an agent tries to pull the door handle. You can see that part. The driver then puts the car in reverse, which is crucial, and then sort of changing.
Oh, wait a minute.
Then an agent tries to pull the door handle. You can see that part.
So it was this guy right here that shot her, but he's standing up. So they never. She didn't really run him over. She might have hit him on the side, but he didn't have to shoot her in the head. He could have just blown out the tires. I mean, I could understand if he would have if he would have been run over like he fell, but he just hit her on the side. That's it. He could have just let her go or shoot the tires.
The driver then puts the car in reverse, which is crucial, and then sort of changing direction is almost to go around. She moves forward again, and that's when the vehicle bumps the ICE agent, who draws his weapon and fires it 3 times. Now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem calls this an act of domestic terrorism. She says there were 3 others of those today. And President Trump claims online that Good violently, willfully, and viciously, this is a quote from him, ran over the ICE officer, adding that it is hard to believe he is alive. All right, now President Trump puts out his own angle of the video.
How is he going to say that if he never fell?
Video to make that point. Let's just show you what he put out there. This is what he's putting out to show the ICE agent's life in danger. You can see, we'll go back and show that to you, that he was bumped by the vehicle. We have video from the moments after the shooting where you do see the agent adjusting his mask as he walks.
Let me rewind that a little bit.
That he was bumped by the vehicle. We have video from the moments after the shooting where you do see.
Okay, that's him right there.
The agent adjusting his mask.
But he never fell.
As he walks away from the vehicle. So that you can see that there. President Trump says that he was injured and is in the hospital.
Look, he's walking perfectly fine.
We have learned that he's been released, which is consistent with him walking away there, adjusting his mask. Now, the Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey had this to say about Trump and his administration's account of what happened.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit.
Fry also did not mince words when he delivered a message to ICE.
I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here.
Now, what happened today is something that Fry spoke about and warned about last night here on the show when he talked about the 2,000 federal agents who were deployed to a city and what ICE said was going to be the largest deployment ever. Here's what Fry said.
This is not about preventing fraud. This is about sowing chaos on the streets of Minneapolis, and that's what they are intent on doing right now.
In a moment, we are going to be joined by a woman who lives on the street where the shooting happened. She was recording as she was pleading with agents to let a doctor check on Renee Good, who was shot.
We have our own medics.
Where are they? Where are they? How can I relax? You just killed my neighbor. You caught butter in the face. You killed my neighbor.
All right, we're going to speak to the woman you heard her voice there, the eyewitness, in just a moment. First, I want to go to the ground and Whitney Wild, who is there in Minneapolis tonight. And Whitney, the crowd is growing where you are. What are you seeing? What is the tone right now?
The tone right now is resilience. It is a chance to pay their respects to a woman they did not know who lost her life yards from right where I'm standing. It was right on this block where, as you see in the video, she pulls out and the ICE officer discharges his firearm into the driver's side of the vehicle, and then she careens to the left side of the street and crashes her car. Just yards behind me is exactly where that happened, Aaron. When we walked up there earlier, and you can't see it right now, but there was a growing vigil there. Flowers laid right at the place where she spent her last moments on Earth. It was so striking, Aaron, because it was the first time that the public was getting a chance to actually see it, because this was minutes after the Minneapolis Police Department cleared out. The scene had been processed, and so they left. And the scene was still so fresh that there was blood on the ground. Flowers were surrounding the blood from people who had come to pay their respects to her. And there were fragments of brake light, it looked like, broken among the flowers. It was, like I said, it was incredibly striking. Right now, what you're hearing is chanting. We are hearing over and over this crowd chant her name.
And what's crazy is after all this happened and the mayor could say, get the fuck out of Minneapolis and this is bullshit and whatever, not that much is going to happen. And they're not going to get, ICE is not going to get out of Minneapolis until they do their jobs, which is basically causing chaos, but at the same time, getting the immigrants out of there, getting illegal immigrants. But the thing with ICE is I can understand, guys, I am totally against illegal immigration. It happens in my country. I hate it. I hate the fact that we got people in my country that are not documented. You don't know who the fuck they are. They do something to you and they go somewhere you can never catch them. And this happens in my country. So I'm totally against illegal immigration, but I am totally against also causing chaos. And I'm totally against the fact that if someone is legally allowed in the United States, and you guys are even harassing American citizens, even arresting American citizens, and taking it that far, that's unorganized chaos. Let's keep watching.
Hearing people speak to the crowd on a bullhorn. This is right now a moment of reflection and a moment of protest. This has turned into a candlelight vigil here, Aaron. I think it is important to remember that we are 4 blocks from where George Floyd was killed. This is Portland Avenue. I'm standing right on Portland Avenue, and East 34th Street is just behind me. And this is a city that's worked really hard to rebuild in the aftermath of that. And multiple people I spoke with today brought up that this is in the aftermath of the George Floyd riots. And
rest in peace, George Floyd, by the way. I was really, really, really emotional when he got killed and the way he got killed.
And East 34th Street is just behind me. And this is a city that's worked really hard to rebuild in the aftermath of that. And multiple people I spoke with today brought up that this is in the aftermath of the George Floyd riots, and that the Minneapolis police have tried to rebuild after that. And what was striking out here earlier, Aaron, was the crowd was so angry, and most of that anger was directed at the Minneapolis Police Department, who had nothing to do with this shooting, but quickly became the target of furor from people who live here and work here, and for many people who saw it, Aaron.
All right, Whitney, thank you very much at that vigil. And as Whitney's talking about, that anger initially that was directed at the Minneapolis Police Department, which of course was not involved with the shooting. Let's go now to the Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. And Chief, I appreciate your time. In the context of what Whitney said, how worried are you about lashback, about this anger, about anything getting out of hand or violence in Minneapolis tonight?
Well, I've been very concerned for several weeks, and I've been quite vocal about it. I have been worried not that federal law enforcement activity was happening, but how that enforcement was taking place in the city. And I have specifically said, I've been worried we would have a tragedy in our community. And I would hope that everyone, regardless of their viewpoint, can acknowledge that the loss of a woman's life is tragic. And along with that, things in this city have been very tense for several weeks, and it is a very emotional situation, and it's very divisive and politically charged. So that is why I have been asking all of our elected officials to please ask for peace and ask for calm. And as you mentioned,
Guys, the thing is that there are ways that ICE can operate and get the job done. They could go out there, get deployed, find out who's illegal, whoever's illegal, take them out, arrest them, send them, deport them. That's it. But why can't you be in the streets and just find out? If somebody could prove that they're legally in the United States, leave them the fuck alone and go on to the next one. That's it. I mean, how is that so hard? You have to just go military presence and you have to harass every fucking body? I don't get it. You stop somebody, ask for their papers. Let me see. Okay, you legal? Go the fuck on. That's it. Why does it have to be so drastic?
our police officers responded immediately. I responded immediately to the scene once I heard there was a report of a shooting. But unfortunately, as our officers were trying to leave today and trying to keep the peace, to preserve the crime scene so that there can be an investigation, so that there can be some level of, a finding related to what actually happened, our men and women became the object of hate, vitriol, and just the frustration that has been building in this community for weeks.
So, I mean, obviously it's very concerning, and I know in the context of that, what Whitney's talking about, how close this is to actually what happened with George Floyd, right, and what your city went through. But when you talk about politicians, there's different video angles out there now, and that's what we have. It did play out on video. The angle that President Trump is sharing appears to show the agent bumped by the vehicle, and he, of course, is characterizing it as he wrote that the woman driving the car was disorderly.
He was bumped by the vehicle, half of his body. He turned like this, and that's it. He's still walking. She didn't directly run him over. If she would have directly run him over, he would have died probably, because she would have drove the vehicle over him. Obviously, he just bumped the vehicle to the side. He could have just shot at the wheel. He could have just shot the tires. He didn't have to fuck. And then he shot her dead in the head. That's crazy.
Obstructing and resisting, and then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer. Is that what happened here? Is that the version you see, or is it different?
I would tell you this much. We owe it to this woman, to her family, and to the American public to ensure that an investigation does occur. And that investigation occurs and it follows all of the available evidence to its logical conclusion. That being said, I can also tell you Law enforcement in the United States has been training for many years to try and avoid incidents like this whenever possible, to try and avoid having law enforcement officers placed into a situation with an unarmed motorist where they may have to use force. That's why there is an emphasis on proportionality, an emphasis on if you are able to identify a license plate, identify who the person is, follow up afterwards if there is some independent crime that did occur prior to the incident.
Right, and of course, in this case, all that was readily available. We can all see the license plate information. That would have been very easy to do, and then that I'm just stating the facts. Now, President Trump said it's hard to believe he's alive, but he's now recovering in the hospital, referring to the ICE agent. We understand he's been discharged. I'm curious, Chief, though, how you see this, because we're looking at him now as after the incident, walking away, he was adjusting his face mask after he was bumped. Obviously, he appeared.
I have a question. Why haven't they pictured him? Why haven't they put a picture of him? I mean, obviously he shot her in the head. They should show his face.
Fine there. Do you know anything about him, who he is, whatever happened to him? Obviously he looks fine there. He was bumped. He's out of whatever checkup he had.
There were at a minimum, dozens and dozens, if maybe not a few hundred, federal law enforcement officers on the scene. I did not speak to anyone, at least none of them told me that they were there.
Look at the way he's walking. He's good.
When the shooting actually occurred. But I was very specific about asking.
And Trump is saying he's lucky to be alive.
If anyone else was injured. And at the time I was told that it was only the woman. So I don't know anything.
And they told him it was only the woman, of course, because the cop is there walking and he's fine. He's fine. There's going to be a lot of backlash to that, guys. There's going to be a lot of backlash. I don't know, guys. Like I said before, the world is becoming a TV show with a cliffhanger at the end of every day. That is all I can say, guys. This is going to have a lot of repercussions, and I have a feeling ICE ain't going nowhere because everybody's going to be pushing back, and I don't think this is the last time somebody's going to get killed. I doubt it. Guys, you already know, man. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the screen. Peace, love, and God bless.